Hey everybody, welcome back to Row Country. Today I am super excited to bring you these super easy Trash to Treasure Valentine's 2020 DIY and a Hobby Lobby dupe. So I'm starting out with some scrap wood and this arrow from the Dollar Tree. Now these scrap pieces of wood were left over by a project we did here at home. Use what you have. I also used my Cricut to go ahead and make some of these decals. I'll try to share them in the link below, but you can do this by printing these off on your computer, turning the paper over, using some pencil, and then turning it back over and tracing and painting. Speaking of paint, I'm using Waverly's chalk paint in the color white, crimson, and that beautiful pink in Ballet Slipper. I'm also going to go ahead and bring in some of this truffle. This is a nice brown that I will be using in one of the projects. You're going to, of course, need some paintbrushes, and these Crafter's Square paintbrushes, guys, these are no joke. Pick them up if you see them. I really like them. The sanding sponge also came from the Dollar Tree. We're also going to need a larger craft stick, and you'll see why. So let's go ahead and get jumped in here. Now, what I do is I start everything out when I'm doing a painting project, especially when I'm doing two of them. I try to do all of my painting in one go. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the sticker off the back of this little arrow, and then I'm going to use those super pointy tweezers that I have to take out these U staples that are in the back of this, and this holds that twine on to this little house. I don't need that, so we'll put that aside, keep it for another project. I'm not even going to fill the holes because that will be the back, and I'm going to give this a really good coat front and back of Waverly's Ballet Slipper. Now, since I have the Ballet Slipper out, I'm going to go ahead and take one of my pieces of scrap wood, and I'm also going to give it a really good coat front and back, and also the sides. My recommendation, because we are going to sand these later, is try not to put too much paint on the edges. It helps with your sanding later. And then the larger craft stick, we're also going to cover in Ballet Slipper as well. I probably don't have, footage of that, but definitely you will want to paint that too. So go ahead and paint those, and then of course put those aside to dry. I cleaned out my brush and I moved right on to these next two blocks, and this time I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in white, and again I'm doing both of these front, back, also the sides, and I'm going to try to be careful around the edges. I want to cover it, but I don't want so much coverage that later on when I go to sand this that it makes it difficult to sand these pieces. Now go ahead and set those aside, and we'll take this last block and we're going to use the Waverly Crimson. Again, same deal, front, back, and sides, and this is how they look when they're finished. Now I ended up, choosing which side I wanted to be the front and which side I wanted to be the back. And I also decided how I was going to use these in terms of what decals I was going to put on them. So that's what I was looking at while I was assessing how these turned out. Now here comes the sanding block from the Dollar Tree. This is a wet or dry sanding block. I left mine dry. Sometimes I find that for sanding, especially a painted surface with the Waverly chalk paint, sometimes getting the sponge a little bit wet and then wringing it out really well does help. But overall, these were able to be sanded very easily, and I'm super happy with how they turned out. I love the distressing on this. And that Dollar Tree sanding block, I mean, you can pay more at Lowe's or a Home Depot if you want to, but you can pay $1 at the Dollar Tree, and I think that's great. I mean, I really love that Dollar Tree. Okay, and speaking of things that I love, my Cricut has become one of my favorite tools to use, but I realize not everybody has one. So as I said, you could print this out on regular paper, turn over the paper, rub some pencil on the back to put down the graphite, and then turn it back over and use the tracing method. Also, I am not an expert Cricut person. That means when I do these, sometimes I mess up, and I did mess up on the spacing on this. But don't worry, there's an easy fix to this. So as you saw, I cut right above the word mine to give myself more space underneath B. And then I used the other decals to sort of line up everything, and then I used just some regular Scotch tape to reattach my B mine together. So I just taped that bottom piece to the top piece. And that, as you'll see here, really did give me a good lineup next to Love You. And so now it won't look overly spaced, I guess is the way that I want to say it. Now, personally, I use this clear contact paper. I picked it up at Walmart. You can also get some at the Dollar Tree. And of course, Cricut has their own brand of transfer tape. And this is what I do to take a lot of the sticky off, especially when I'm putting a decal onto a painted surface, especially painted surface that is fresh. I want to make sure I get some of that stickiness off so that I can put my decal on, but I don't pull up the rest of the paint. So I went ahead and just put that over my arm just to sort of take that off, and it works really good. You could also put it on a shirt or whatever just to sort of take that tackiness away. And then you use a burnishing tool just like I did here. The Cricut little burnishing tool is great. I love that tool. And I just go ahead and get it onto the transfer tape, and then I'll lay it down where I think it looks nice. But I'm going to bring out just a clear ruler, and I'm going to make sure that my spacing is the same between the letters and the edge on both B and mine. I'll burnish it down and I'll remove it, and that turned out really cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to tell you a little story, because a lot of people are doing the faux Ray Dunn, and a lot of people use the skinny font, and hey, I'm like a big fan of that too. But to be 100% honest, my life before I started in the field that I'm in now, I was a writer. I actually started writing in junior high, and I've always loved it. My grandfather was a pharmacist, and back in the day, they had to type on a typewriter the bottle, the little things that went on the bottle to tell you how to take your medicine. Gosh, the label, there it is. I have my words. Okay, so one day he was actually getting ready to get rid of one of the typewriters because they were replacing it, and he graciously gave that to me. And honestly, this typewriter font that I'm using on these blocks today, they remind me of that typewriter from long, long ago. So that's really why I decided to go with this typewriter font versus the faux Ray Dunn or the skinny font that you can get online. That said, if you really prefer the skinny over this, definitely do that instead, because you need to do this the way that you're going to really enjoy looking at these. So the Love You turned out really cute, right? And now we're going to go with Kiss Me, and I'm putting that on the red block as well. The inspiration for this for me actually came from Etsy and also from Pinterest. I really can't say exactly who or give total credit to one person, because this is really a combination of things that I've seen. But I really, really love it, and I love going to those places for inspiration for me. Listen, if you're thinking about getting a Cricut, I just want to let you know there is a description in the description box below. I'm so sorry I'm stumbling. A link to Cricut. If you use my link, I might make a couple dollars, and it does help my channel, but I'm just letting you know ahead of time that if you were to click that, it is an affiliate link, and I do appreciate your support. So just know that it's there if you are interested in checking out what Cricut is about. But guys, this is how these turned out, and I love how the crimson and that ballet slipper really play off of each other. They're such a great complement. And then we'll just pull in the Be Mine. Oh my gosh, that is adorable. Now the last one that I did for this is the XOXO. And again, that almost looks like a bolded Ray Dunn inspired skinny font, but it's really not. It is actually that typewriter font as well. And I'm using that same piece of transfer tape. I was able to cut one piece, and for all 5 decals that we're using in today's DIYs, I was able to use that. So that's a great way to get this to stretch, your money, and just keep this within budget. You don't have to use a lot of transfer tape either when doing these decals. I absolutely love doing these types of projects. And so as this last decal goes down, I just want to take a moment to say hey to my returning subscribers. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. It really warms my heart, and I just can't get over how you guys show up for video after video. Thank you, seriously. And to those of you who are new here today, I really hope you'll take a moment to become a member of the Row Country family here on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're here. And listen, everybody, make sure that that little bell is check marked and you let YouTube know how you want to be notified every time I put up a new video. And so this turns out really cute. I love how really all four of these wooden pieces that started out as really garbage has turned into beautiful Valentine decor for my country farmhouse this year. I really love it. So we're going to jump right now into our second DIY. This is a Hobby Lobby dupe. That little house is really cute, but it's like $8, I think, before the coupon at Hobby Lobby. We can do better even after the coupon, guys. So this is going to be how this goes. I painted that, of course, in the beginning of this video. Now we're going to bring in a barbecue skewer and we're going to use the color Truffle. And this brown really coordinates well with this Waverly chalk paint in the color Ballet Slipper. So pretty together. We're going to take the barbecue skewer, we're going to take some chalk paint on it, we're going to load that up, but we're not going to put so much on it that it's like dripping off. So we just want to cover it. We'll come to the 2-inch mark and we'll lay that down. We're not going to roll it. We're just going to sort of stamp it into place, put some pressure on it, and when you lift it, that's your first line for what will become, our faux shiplap. Now, I came in at the 4-inch mark as well. Maybe you can come in a little more straighter than I do, but it's okay, guys, seriously. I mean, handmade, homemade, this stuff, this turns out so cute. No one's really going to pay attention to how straight that line is. Now take some paint, put some on the brush, but then take as much of it off as you can. Come to the top and just sort of brush in small strokes there to start to distress the top and the bottom. Then you'll want to come in one direction, either up or down, on this piece to give it a little more dimension and distressing as well. And then finally come over the lines 1 or 2 times just to take the harshness off of that and to sort of blend it in. Now the craft stick, we could have cut it off in a straight line across the top, but I sort of like the rounded look of this when I put this on the little house to make it look like a chimney. I just think that's so cute. And we don't even have to distress that. We're going to leave that completely pink, and that's what that's going to look like on the back. Now we're going to bring in another decal that I did. Remember, guys, I'm not an expert and I'm also not a font expert, so I really just tried to sort of mimic what was on the inspiration piece, and I think we accomplished it. Seriously. Now, if you want this to have more stability when standing, you can take something off the back of a picture frame, like one of those little kickstands, and hot glue it to the back. But I have found for these, for me, these stand up on their own, so I don't need any extra support there. Okay, so we'll just roll that off, and that's how that turned out. I can't believe that I was able to take something from the Dollar Tree and 100% create what I could have bought at Hobby Lobby if I had decided to go there. Guys, thank you again so much for watching my video today. I really appreciate you, and I wish you all a wonderful Valentine's Day. Get out there and get your supplies so you can make some of this too. Hey, while you're here, go ahead and watch another video there, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until the next time, bye!